Investors are, of course, looking forward to the signing of that deal between the U.S. and China tomorrow. That signing taking place tomorrow as the Trump administration welcomes China's vice premier to Washington, set to be having a dinner with the Chinese official tonight. For more on this, let's bring in John Burnett, the founder of Empire Group. Hi, John. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Good to be here.
The White House will be releasing the full text of that Phase 1 trade deal tomorrow as it is signed. What do you think investors are looking for in the details of that trade agreement?
Well, first of all, it's been a long time coming. However, there's no greater person that could have gotten this done other than President Trump. And here we are signing a historic deal, historic deal that not only includes extra agriculture, but you know what? We get concession on China stealing our trade secrets, stealing our intellectual property, and we have some other protections. And we also have a direct negotiation, direct resolution line, not going through the World Trade Organization, but being able to deal directly with China. And I think that's a win-win. Why? Because if they don't adhere to the terms of the deal, President Trump will snap even higher sanctions and higher tariffs on China.
John, some have said that this deal is not as big as the Trump administration is making it out to be. You mentioned it's a historic deal. The White House saying this is an historic deal. What is the market looking for specifically as Phase 2 talks do begin immediately following the signing of Phase 1?
I think there'll be more forceful actions on intellectual property, which is included in Phase 1, but actually I think it'll be ramped up in Phase 2. But also subsidies. We have to stop China from subsidizing their state-owned entities. Why? Because that creates an unfair competitive advantage. We want to make sure that we can actually compete with standalone companies within China to make sure that we can actually increase our exports. Why? Because American goods are just as good as China, if not better.
Switching gears to something else that investors are, of course, really focusing on now. Earnings season has kicked off. Fourth quarter reports being submitted by big banks today to kick off this season. What are you expecting this earnings season to look like as we look at the reports from the final quarter of last year?
Well, you know what, Greta? We're coming off record highs with respect to consumer spending around the holidays. I think it exceeded over $1 trillion. That's good news for all businesses in our economy, not just retail. As we've seen and heard from J.P. Morgan and Citibank, those numbers are phenomenal. So I expect an earnings season to continue, and when this USMCA is signed, as well as the U.S.-China deal, you know what? That brings about clarity, right? Because the market loves certainty. And when these two deals are signed, businesses can actually plan with certainty, figure out, you know what, where to deploy capital, namely China with respect to intellectual property protection and things of that nature. Things are going to look up. And in fact, don't be surprised if the market hits 30,000 before Election Day.
I'm looking for that 30,000 too. We did peak back above that 29,000 mark today after hitting it real quickly on Friday and then dipping a little bit today. But John Burnett there joining us live from New York City as the market does prepare for the U.S. to sign the Phase 1 trade deal with China, and earnings season did kick off today with big banks. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.